Have you ever daydreamed about finding an absolute cheat code for life? Well, today in this explainer, we are breaking down one of the most insane zero-to-hero journeys you will ever hear about. We're talking about Howard. This is a guy who goes from being a completely bankrupt noodle shop owner to an overpowered billionaire. And how does he do it? All thanks to a ridiculously overpowered, highly peculiar time travel system. Let's get right into it.
So, what if a single bowl of beef noodles could buy you a solid gold brick? I know, it sounds totally absurd, right? But this is exactly where Howard's story actually kicks off. To set the stage here, Howard is at absolute rock bottom. I mean, his restaurant is completely failing, his greedy girlfriend just dumped him, and to top it off, she took whatever cash was left in the register and just took off. So he's standing there in his empty noodle shop, totally defeated. But just when things literally couldn't get any worse, the door swings open, and in walks a gorgeous woman dressed in full, authentic Yuan Dynasty armor, and she demands beef and wine. Howard, thinking she's just some highly committed cosplay actor, decides to humor her and serves up his best dish.
Well, she is absolutely blown away by the food, and she pays her bill by casually dropping a literal, heavy gold ingot right onto the table, and then poof, she just vanishes. Instantly, this robotic voice echoes in Howard's head saying, "Time travel system activated." As it turns out, his humble little ramen shop is actually a time travel hub. It's a literal portal connecting the modern world directly to the ancient Yuan Dynasty. Oh, and that mysterious armored woman, that was Miss Ziki, a high-ranking imperial guard from literally 1,000 years ago.
Now, Howard doesn't just sit around on this massive discovery. He immediately tests the glitch. He takes that Yuan Dynasty gold ingot straight to an antique appraiser in the city to see what it's worth. The result? He cashes it in for a cool $1 million. No joke. Just like that, his entire financial ruin is completely wiped out by a single meal's payment. And the craziest part of all this is that it's just the tip of the iceberg. The portal is officially open for business, and Howard is the absolute sole merchant.
So, armed with this incredible newfound wealth, the guy who literally just yesterday was dressed in cheap, everyday clothes struts right into a high-end car dealership. A super stuck-up saleswoman there, who actually knows him and his ex-girlfriend, literally laughs in his face. She assumes he's just there to beg for free coffee or something. But Howard, he doesn't even blink. He drops nearly $2 million in straight cash on a top-tier Yuan luxury car. The absolute jaw-dropping shock on his haters' faces is just the first taste of the massive vindication Howard is about to experience.
You have to realize, the exchange rate between these two eras is absolutely absurd. When Ms. Ziki returns to the shop, she brings news that the mighty Yuan Emperor has completely lost his appetite. So, what is Howard's genius solution? Modern, MSG-packed instant noodles and cola. I mean, to ancient palates, this highly processed junk food is basically a culinary miracle. The emperor becomes so obsessed with it that he heavily rewards Ziki, who in turn shares the massive spoils with Howard. We are talking about trading 70-cent instant noodles for literally priceless lost national treasures, like an authentic folding fan by a legendary chancellor, or trading a simple bottle of cola for a flawless gold cluster embroidery pouch. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate historical arbitrage.
And those ancient treasures translate to some seriously mind-boggling modern wealth. Try a staggering $900 million. A billionaire named Luna Wang happily drops that astronomical sum just for the embroidered pouch alone. But wait, because it gets even better. Shortly after that, an ancient landscape painting that Howard acquired through the system goes to a Sotheby's auction and fetches a cool $1.3 billion. Literally in a matter of days, Howard is leapfrogged from being totally unable to pay his rent to sitting on a multi-billion-dollar fortune.
But hey, what is a zero-to-hero story without a little sweet payback, right? With his pockets now deeper than the ocean, Howard goes house hunting for a massive luxury villa and randomly bumps into his abusive aunt and uncle. Now, these are the terrible people who forced him to live in a freezing woodshed and eat table scraps growing up, all while claiming they were doing him this massive favor. Well, Howard looks right at them and drops a massive truth bomb. Where did my dad's $900,000 death compensation go? He exposes the fact that they literally stole his inheritance just to buy their own house. So using his new billionaire status and the terrifying threat of severe legal action, he utterly ruins these greedy relatives. Talk about the ultimate catharsis.
Okay, but Howard's trades soon go way beyond just junk food and antiques. Things get intense when Ms. Ziki shows up at the shop gravely injured from a fierce battle in the past. Howard immediately jumps into action and patches her up using basic over-the-counter modern medical supplies. We're talking basic antibiotics like amoxicillin, and Yunnan Bai Yao, which is a modern blood clotting powder. Now, think about this from her perspective. To a warrior from the Yuan Dynasty, a medicine that stops bleeding in mere seconds and completely prevents infection, that is basically sheer magic. Out of immense gratitude for saving her life and recognizing his naturally robust health, Ziki decides to try and teach him martial arts. She does this by transferring her inner chi directly into his body. Now, usually, this is something that takes years and years to master, but thanks to the time travel system providing some serious hidden stat boosts, Howard absorbs all 10 streams of her true energy instantly. As it turns out, our noodle shop owner is actually a once-in-a-millennium martial arts prodigy. No way, right? So now, Howard isn't just a filthy rich merchant anymore. He is practically superhuman, and this completely overpowered status gets put to the test immediately. You see, a rival, incredibly jealous billionaire family in the modern world actually sends a team of armed professional assassins to take Howard out. But here's the thing. With his newly awakened ancient martial arts and all that surging inner chi, their modern weapons literally mean nothing. We are talking about bare-handed bullet dodging here, people. He effortlessly anticipates the gunfire, weaves right through the bullets, and completely dismantles the entire hit squad without even breaking a sweat.
Meanwhile, massive trouble is brewing back in the Yuan Dynasty. Miss Ziki arrives at the shop completely stressed out. Apparently 100,000 troops are marching to crush a massive rebellion, but they have absolutely zero food supplies, and the imperial treasury is totally empty. So what is Howard's solution this time? He literally goes out and buys up an entire modern supermarket's dead stock. He manages to acquire 4,000 boxes of dense, military-grade compressed biscuits, which equates to about 800,000 modern survival ration bars.
What happens next is essentially the trade of a lifetime. 10 crates of biscuits for 1 solid gold ingot. Howard manages to supply the entire Yuan army with these ultra-efficient modern military rations, pretty much single-handedly saving the empire from total collapse. And the payout? In exchange, Miss Ziki and her influential family reward him with absolute mountains of gold, priceless jewels, and maybe, even more importantly, top-tier legendary martial arts manuals like the monument-cleaving palm. Okay, so let's dive right into the climax of this explainer. You see, all of these massive, world-altering trades, the gold, the ancient antiques, the junk food, the modern medicine, they weren't just for money. They were actually accumulating experience points for the system in the background this whole time. And then, suddenly, that familiar robotic voice chimes inside Howard's head. Upgrade requirements met.
The system initiates a massive, game-changing upgrade. Up until this very moment, Howard was strictly restricted to staying safely inside his noodle shop. He was really just a modern merchant, acting as a hub, forced to wait for guests from the past to come to him. But now, the portal is fully open. That barrier between the two timelines has completely dissolved. Howard is definitely no longer that broke, dumped loser miserably wiping down tables. He is now a multi-billionaire in the modern world and a legendary, totally overpowered martial arts genius to boot. So, he puts on a set of traditional ancient robes, looks right at Miss Ziki, and confidently steps through that doorway himself. He is not just trading goods anymore, guys. He is literally stepping into the past, fully equipped and ready to conquer the entire Yuan Dynasty.
It is an absolutely wild ride of a story, and it perfectly utilizes that hilarious contrast between our everyday modern convenience and ancient historical value. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this one provocative question. If you had a time travel portal sitting in your living room right now, what modern item would you take to the past to become a billionaire? Seriously, think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.